It's the final race of the season, the UIM F1H2O Grand Prix of Sharjah, with only 2 men left standing in the title race. Sean Torrente and the sleek might of Team Abu Dhabi versus Jonas Andersson and the scrappy never-say-die tenacity of Team Sweden. One will taste the thrill of victory, the other suffer the agony of defeat. The battle lines are drawn. The showdown was on Khalid Lagoon, where world champions have been forged for nearly 2 decades, Sharjah hosting the traditional season finale of the UIM F1H2O World Championship since 2004. Sharjah is a unique emirate in the UAE with a very different feel to the glitz and glamour of neighboring sheikdoms. While Sharjah is a progressive and modern city with a world-class infrastructure, this is a place that instead puts tradition, heritage, and culture in the spotlight. A city that reflects the rich Arabian Islamic influence that has shaped Sharjah, evident in the multifaceted and diverse architectural landmarks that the city has to offer, spanning various cultures and geographies. Sharjah has an intimate relationship to the surrounding environment, from long stretches of sunny, sandy beaches to the haunting beauty of the desert and its unique wildlife just a drive away, all of which hold pride of place in local Sharjah culture. The city boasts parks and museums and such treats as the Al Mahatta Aviation Museum and the Butterfly Sanctuary on Al Noor Island and Khalid Lagoon. This Middle Eastern hub provides the perfect finale for the UIM F1H2O season, a week-long water celebration in which aquabike motos were raced along with the UIM F1H2O and F4 Championship as one of the world's most renowned water festivals came alive in a mix of adrenaline and elegance. Those daring enough also had a chance to take a spin in the F1H2O 2-seater, not for the faint-hearted. Now let's take a look at the drama from the last round. In the previous 2 rounds in Xiamen, China, Team Sweden's Jonas Andersson's runner-up in the Senstar Grand Prix of Xiamen in round 4 shot him to the top of the world standings ahead of defending world champion Sean Torrente of Team Abu Dhabi. With his back against the wall, Torrente knew he had to step up his game, and that's just what he did, taking pole position to lead from the start in the Senstar Grand Prix of China the following day. The conditions were very rough on Wuyan Bay as the winner from the previous day, Alex Carella, blew over as he tried to pass Torrente. With 4 yellow flags and half the field unable to complete the race, it was Schiap and Andersson who moved up into 2nd and 3rd positions behind Torrente, both passing Marit Stromoy. They brought the pressure on Torrente, but the American held his nerve and closed out the win, his 2nd of the year, which shot him back into the lead of the title race. But that 3rd place for Andersson meant he was still very much in the running, just 5 points behind Torrente going into the final round in Sharjah. There were 18 drivers from 9 teams lined up in Sharjah, but there were only 2 title contenders left, the latest in a history of epic battles on Khalid Lagoon. Capellini versus Gilman, Price versus Celio, Carella versus Schiap, and now Torrente versus Andersson. The 2 title protagonists have fought hard to be the last men standing and have dominated the podium places, Torrente with 2 wins and a 3rd place finish in 4 Grand Prix, Andersson with 1 win, 1 runner-up finish and 2 3rd places. Torrente's Team Abu Dhabi is a slick machine with big budgets and testing facilities led by legendary 10-time world champion Guido Capellini. Torrente brought the team the championship last year, and now Torrente had a 5-point advantage going into Sharjah, on track for his singular goal of defending his world title.
Well, we're here in Sharjah, leading the points just like last year, trying to get our job done, and we'll go for our 2nd championship. Last race of the year, so all to play for. Really looking forward to it. It's going to be a heck of a battle with me and Jonas.
The man who stood between Torrente and the World Championship was from a very contrasting team. Team Sweden, a family affair, a labor of love, where Andersson works on his own boats, tunes his own engines, doubles as manager with his wife, who is also his radio person. Jonas Andersson has never won a world title in 14 years on the tour, and this was as close as he'd ever come to a shot at becoming world champion. But the odds were stacked against him. He had to finish the race in first place with at least one boat between him and Torrente.
Yeah, for sure this weekend we have some pressure. We can win the championship and it has never happened before. But I have nothing to lose. Try to make a clean race and have some luck to finish with the engine in one piece.
Leading the chasing field is Marit Stromoy of Emirates Racing. She won her maiden Grand Prix in Sharjah 2015 and has been in brilliant form all year in her quest for a first ever year-end World Championship podium finish.
Before this, I finished twice on 4th position and being on the top of the podium. And the overall ranking would be a huge step, and it's what everyone at home is expecting me to come home with a medal. We know that it won't be silver or gold, but if we can get a bronze, I will be very happy.
Sharjah team will be looking to post good results in home waters for the 20th year anniversary, led by two-time world champion Sami Seljo of Finland, racing alongside his countryman Philip Roms.
20th time here in Sharjah is big time for us now, especially now after all these years we became as the Sharjah team. So all the fans and supporters around us is here. Everybody's focusing to watching the Sharjah team. Let's see what's happened there, but we will push for the win. Me and Philip, we try everything what we can to be fast for the Sharjah.
But waiting to throw a wrench in the championship contenders' plans are a formidable cast of former Sharjah winners and world champions who want to finish the year on top of the podium. Three-time world champion Philipp Schiapp of CTIC F1 Shenzhen, China, four-time world champion Alex Carella of Maverick F1, Eric Stark of Victory Team, and Daniel Kamzi, Torrente's Team Abu Dhabi teammate and fourth going into Sharjah. The Sharjah circuit is famously challenging. Sticky water conditions, waves reverberating off the lagoon walls, and the glare of the late afternoon sun streaming through the buildings and combining with the spray. Also back on the circuit is the notorious yellow right-hander, which was omitted last year. The Rebellion official qualifying would be crucial as drivers fight it out over 3 sessions to determine the all-important starting lineup. The 18 drivers in Q1 reduced to 12 in Q2 were the fastest 6 with lock horns and a Q3 shootout to determine pole position. Last year's world runner-up Eric Stark of Victory Team was back in form, setting the fastest times in practice, followed by the quickest lap in Q1. His teammate David Delpin, however, was unable to progress to Q2. Maverick F1 team principal Cedric Deguin was out with technical issues, but his teammate Alex Carella made it through in 9th. F1 Atlantic drivers Duarte Benavente and Alberto Comparato were both off the pace out in Q1, while Sharjah team's Philip Roms, who did well last year, was also unable to move up, finishing in 16th. Just scraping through in the final seconds was Emirates Racing's Bartek Marszalek in 12th, bumping out Greg Foster of Blaze Performance. In Q2, the quickest of the 12 remaining drivers were CTIC F1 Shenzhen's Philipp Schiapp and again Eric Stark. Schiapp's CTIC teammate Peter Marin had a tougher time of it, unable to crack the top 6, finishing 8th. Blaze Performance veteran and 12-time Grand Prix winner Francesco Cantando was also out in Q2, and Alex Carella unable to find the pace, languishing in 12th at the end of the session. With Jonas Andersson laying a good time to secure a Q3 spot, the pressure was on for Sean Torrente as he went all out to stay near his rival. He was able to bump Marit Stromoy out for a crucial top 6 spot, Stromoy ending in 7th, her teammate Marszalek also out of the running in 9th. Q3, the last 6, the battle for pole, Sean Torrente out first with 2 laps and the course to himself to lay a fastest time. 46.25 is the time to beat, but will it be enough?
My first lap, it was just a little too choppy. It's not going to be good enough, but it was a decent lap. But second lap was absolutely perfect until I got to the yellow. I tried to go for a home run. I should have just hit a double, and I was good. So we'll see what we got. We're in the top 6, so we're ready to fight tomorrow.
Torrente's teammate Daniel Kamzi goes hard and beats Torrente's time with a 45.47 lap time that hands the Abu Dhabi veteran provisional pole. Sharjah team hopes rest on Sami Celio, but he's unable to beat either Torrente or Al-Kamzi with a 46.47 time. Jonas Andersson sees his chance. He knows Torrente's time isn't great, and he wants to put a couple of boats between him and Torrente on the start pontoon. It's pure perfection from Andersson. What a lap, what a time, 45.26. He's ahead of Torrente, but there's still two drivers left.
Yeah, I don't know if it's enough, but I'm before Sean, and that's important.
One of the fastest men so far has been Eric Stark, the defending Sharjah Grand Prix and pole position champion. He has nothing to lose, and he's fast, 45.45, but not fast enough. Andersson breathes a sigh of relief as a second driver slips in between him and Torrente. One man left, Philipp Schiap, a pole position master, officially the fastest man on tour. Andersson watches on nervously. What a lap from Schiap! 45.31, it is 0.05 of a second short. Yeah! Andersson takes pole position and crucially puts three boats between him and Torrente. This is a dream start to Andersson's hopes for a first ever world title. For Torrente, it's going to be a nerve-wracking affair. The American having three places to make up in the race. Al-Kamzi, Stark and Schiap if he's to hold on to that slim 5-point lead in the world standings and defend his world title.
I feel fantastic. This morning in the practice I didn't feel good. The setup was not good on the boat and I didn't drive good. And now we worked the whole day. The guys have not even get the dinner and now it's coming more. So, I mean, it's the chance of my life. So, we're gonna take it.
The UIM F1H2O family was treated to a traditional Arabian feast in the desert where they had a chance to unwind and enjoy Sharjah's incredible hospitality. Crowds lined the lagoon in their thousands for the final race of the season. Philipp Schiap in P2 would hold a critical position in the world title.
I hope for the good race because for me the problem is Jonas, it's my friend, it's on the pole position. I don't want to destroy the championship for him, but for sure I do my best for win the race.
Also holding a crucial role are last year's world runner-up Eric Stark of Victory Team and Daniel Kamzi, who start between Andersson and Torrente. It's a big moment for Andersson, his first shot at a world title in his 14-year career, but he has to hold off 6 former Sharjah Grand Prix winners and 3 world champions right behind him. No easy task for any driver. The starting grid, Andersson with pole with 5 points to make up with Torrente in the standings, knowing he'll have to put at least a boat between him and the American. Celio starts in 6th, Stromoy is in 7th, then it's Morin in P8, Marsalek P9, and Andersson's teammate Eric Eden in P10, followed by Cantando, followed by 4-time world champion Corella in P12. The final minutes, nerves are taut, the tension is palpable, almost complete silence on the starting pontoon as the teams and drivers await the start. The lights go out, the race is on. Great start from Jonas Andersson, the Swede surging ahead on the opening straightaway to the commitment buoy. Eric Stark in trouble, he gets bumped on the right sponson by Daniel Kamzi, who crosses Stark's race line. Stark recovers, but he loses precious time. Right up there with Andersson is Philipp Schiap. Torrente also making a great start as that collision between Al-Kamzi and Stark helps push him up neck and neck with Al-Kamzi. Back in the field, Philip Roms of home team Sharjah is getting passed by American Greg Foster of Blaze Performance, who's also off to a great start, moving up from 18th to 14th right off the bat. Emirates racing driver Bartek Marsalek is in 9th, fighting Peter Marin of CTIC for 8th position. Marszalek finds the clear water to pick up speed and pass Marin on the outside as the Polish ace locks 8th position. Anderson is in the race of his life, opening up a nice gap with Schiap in second, hoping Schiap and Alkamzi can hold off the hard-charging Torrente. Torrente makes a move on Alkamzi. He swings around on the outside, trying to find a way around his teammate, but Alkamzi holds firm. Himself a multiple Grand Prix winner in Sharjah, who knows this circuit well.
Good job. Keep.
Torrente in the number 1 boat, cuts inside on the straightaway. Alkamzi on the outside. Torrente moves up, they are dead even. Torrente hugging those turns tight, holding on to that inside lane, not letting Alkamzi pass. Just 1 lap into this 45-lap race, and Torrente has already moved up 2 positions from 5th to 3rd. Great start. As Anderson gets into a groove in the lead, Schiap now holds the key to this race. If Torrente were to overhaul Schiap and Anderson win the race, Torrente would retain his world title on countback. While the two would have 2 wins apiece this year, Torrente's 2 runner-up finishes to Anderson's 1 would seal the title for the American. Further back, Marit Stromoy, who is poised for a first-ever year-end podium, has maintained 7th position, and she's on target for the 3rd step of the podium now. Marszalek right behind his teammate Marit Stromoy, behind him Peter Marin, but Marin now finds Francesco Cantando coming up from behind to challenge the Frenchman, who was 6th in the standings going into Sharjah. Eric Eden lost 2 positions at the start, dropping back to 12th, and he gets hit by Greg Foster on the inside lane as they come around the yellow right-hander, which leaves the young Swede limping on the circuit. Eric Stark also succumbs after that bump with Alkamzi at the start. Last year's world runner-up closes the season.
Then I had a very bad start. Tani was very bad and was cutting my lane directly, so I almost blew over, and then I was after.
Dani Alkamzi would later be disqualified for cutting Stark's lane. Meanwhile, Francesco Cantando has bumped Marin down a spot to 9th, while both drivers are chased by Alex Corella in 10th. But Corella loses control, he spins and rolls. Corella's boat badly damaged, his race is over, but at least he lands right side up and is unhurt. That would be a yellow flag.
I lose lead on the right corner, I try to take it back and I ballerol and finito.
All the work Anderson put into opening a gap is gone, and now the Swede has to try and hold off an attack by Schiap, and more importantly, hope that Schiap can hold off Torrente, who surely senses an opportunity now. The green flag is up, the race resumes. Alkamzi in 4th, blinded by light and spray. No problems for Anderson, he maintains his lead, and Schiap holds off Torrente, but the gaps have narrowed between the 3 drivers. Great restart by Sami Celio, the Sharjah team ace, moving up into 4th, overhauling Alkamzi, who also has to fend off Marit Stromoy coming from behind on the inside. Stromoy makes a mistake, she gets some air under her, and that's all Alkamzi needs to slip past her. Alkamzi is in 5th. Stromoy's mistake proves costly as she's then passed by fast-moving Bartek Marszalek, who passes his teammate, bumping her down a spot. Even Cantando gets past her briefly before she recovers and gets back on track. She knows that she needs to finish near Alkamzi, otherwise she might lose the year-end podium spot to him. No change at the top, Anderson with a comfortable lead, safe in 1st for now. Schiap 2nd, Torrente 3rd, knowing unless he can pass Schiap, Anderson will snatch the world title away from him. By the 12th lap, Marszalek goes from strength to strength, having a great race as he pushes on Alkamzi in 5th. But just when Anderson rebuilds a gap over Schiap, the yellow flag comes up yet again as Cantando takes out a buoy, possibly blinded by the sun and spray on the corner. Both Blaze Performance boats are back on the pontoon. Their races are over. The end to a dismal year for Cantando, who was unable to finish a single race in 2019.
I dislodged 2 boa, so I'm disqualified for sure. This sun today is really bad. You cannot see nothing. So, unfortunately, out from the spray, I was in the middle of the turns. Nothing to do.
The second restart of the race coming up. Torrente once again sees a chance to take Schiap. Also, enormous pressure on Anderson. Can he hold his lead? The green flag is up. Anderson holds on to his lead. Further back, it's mayhem as Sami Celio and Tiny Alkamzi nearly collide. Bartek Marszalek escaping the confusion. Marit Stromoy has snuck through on the inside, coming fast around that corner, and she slips her way past Celio, Alkamzi, and her teammate Marszalek to move up into fourth, with Marszalek right behind her. Alkamzi, now in seventh, locks horns with Celio, taking on the Sharjah team two-time world champion driver. Alkamzi does it in the right-hander, cutting through ahead of Celio. Alkamzi up in sixth now, with Celio giving chase to the Team Abu Dhabi veteran. The big winner on the second restart was Marit Stromoy. She saw her opportunity well, took advantage, and seized fourth spot. But then Stromoy grinds to a halt. There's something wrong as she's passed by Marszalek, and then the rest of the field, the boat just dead in the water.
Yeah, the engine seized. So it's broken engine. But now I'm just hoping for, if things stays the same, I'm still third in the championship, so that's what I will hope for now.
With just 13 laps left, Anderson's fate is virtually in Shiap's hands. The Frenchman, the only thing standing between the world title hopes of both Anderson and Torrente. But with the reduced field, passing will prove more difficult for Torrente. Anderson knows he's very close to his dream coming true. Torrente, on the other hand, must sense that his chances are dwindling fast if he's to defend his world title. It all hinges on Shiap. He is the kingmaker as 3 seconds separate each driver from the next. Marszalek in fourth, then Alkamzi fifth and Celio sixth. A ninth boat is out of the race. This time it's Duarte Benavente of F1 Atlantic. Half the field is out of the race now with about 10 laps left. Marszalek is on target for a best ever race finish in fourth, with maybe even a shot at the podium as he sets the fastest lap time out there and no back markers to hamper him. With just 5 laps left, Torrente still doggedly pursuing Shiap. What a gap Anderson has opened there. He's done everything he needed to do today, overcoming the nerves and the pressure from champion drivers. This small team going up against juggernauts like Abu Dhabi and CTIC is just 1 lap away from glory after 14 years on the UIM F1 H2O Tour. But then Shiap breaks down. With just 3 pins to go, Torrente moves past the limping CTIC boat, and Torrente comes through in second to take the World Championship. What a cruel blow for Team Sweden. What a twist of fate for Anderson. Torrente and Team Abu Dhabi celebrate an incredible world title defense that literally came down to the last lap, while Jonas Andersson slumps over in defeat despite having just won the race. The world title was within his grasp and it was snatched away. Best ever result for Bartek Marszalek on the podium for the first time, a well-deserved third place for the Polish driver. Anderson did everything he needed to do, and he did it well, with limited resources and crew, to bring himself and his team to where they are now, and it is an incredible achievement. Just 9 boats finishing the race. Celio finishes 5th for the local team. Shiap drops down to 6th after being in 2nd for 44.5 laps. Comparato manages to finish in 7th, Delpin 8th, De Guin completes the race in 9th. Torrente on top of the world, now a 2-time back-to-back world champion. In the team standings, it's Team Abu Dhabi once again retaining their world team title comfortably with 106 points. Team Sweden a world runner-up on 89 points, and Emirates Racing finished 3rd.
I started from 9th spot, so podium was unexpected at the beginning, but the boat was great, and oh, finally, it's my place. I deserve it, so I promise this is not the last time. No, I mean, I did what I have to do. We took the pool and we win from pool, and in the last lap, Philip broke. It's a shame. It would be nice with a world championship, but it is what it is. So yeah, sure, I'm very disappointed.
Anderson and Torrente complete the year on equal 79 points. Torrente wins the UIM F1 H2O title on countback. Stromoy just manages to hold on for a career-best season-end result in 3rd. Alkamzi 4th, Marszalek finishes 5th, then Carella 6th.
Yeah, it feels great to be third in the championship. Luckily, I couldn't finish today. Boat was fast, and I had the pace to actually be on the podium, but in the end, engine is broken, really broken. So, but finishing third in the world in Formula One is a dream come true. So, yeah.
I just pushed like crazy, and once I was in third, I knew I was in striking distance. I just kept putting the pressure on, and finally the 7 broke. And man, I saw it with a lap to go. I couldn't believe it. And my radio man's going crazy. I'm trying to hold it together for one more lap, and I couldn't believe it, man. It was awesome. I'm so thankful for these guys and everything they do for me. We just fight to the end. Today was exactly who we are. We just fight and fight and fight and fight until we get what we need.
The end of a brilliant 2019 UIM F1 H2O World Powerboat Championship was celebrated with a traditional closing feast in the Arabian Desert. That brings to an end another decade of racing. See you in 2020.